spoke with Dulos' attorney over the phone, who says the promises for recovery of Dulos do not look too promising. Right now, as we speak, his brother and sister are here from Greece. They are huddling with doctors as well as his attorney to discuss the battery of tests that Dulos underwent overnight to discuss whether or not he ultimately will survive, as he is said to be teetering between life or death. The 52-year-old was brought here to the Bronx hospital earlier this week and has been in the ICU ever since. He was flown here after attempting suicide by carbon monoxide poisoning inside his Connecticut garage. The 52-year-old's attorney says the situation is dire. Meanwhile, overnight, state police finished their search of his home in suburban Hartford, reportedly looking for a possible suicide note or any evidence further linking him to his estranged wife's suspected murder. Jennifer Dulos disappeared last May from her New Canaan home after dropping off her 5 children at school. She's never been found, but he was charged with murder 3 weeks ago and is out of jail on bond. Yesterday, his attorneys were in court to discuss these stunning developments.
A lawyer's commitment is to be a shepherd to his client and to walk them through the valley of the shadow of death. And sometimes you make a call where you think your client is self-destructive, that is based on the best judgment that you can see. I saw nothing that led me to believe that.
And in court, a judge ordered Dulos' rearrest if he is physically able to leave the hospital and go back to Connecticut for missing that court appearance on Tuesday. At this point, there are 2 other people still charged in connection with his wife's disappearance and death. Those cases are still expected to move forward as normal. Back to you.
People paying close attention to this case, Anthony. The judge decided to raise Dulos' bond yesterday, right? But didn't order him back to jail. So what was the reasoning behind all of that if he's in a hospital?
Well, this was sort of a quid pro quo that the state and the defense worked out between each other. The state saying that essentially, since he is in the hospital here and his siblings flew here from Greece to visit him, they wouldn't revoke his bond because essentially that would have made him a prisoner once again, and his family would have to go through all sorts of red tape to visit him and make these life or death decisions. And in exchange for that, they agreed with the defense to increase his bond by $500,000. But of course, whether he'll ultimately have to pay that once again is unclear at this time.
You know, Anthony, I can't help but think about his 5 children. Do they know what's going on with their dad? I know that they've been staying with Dulos Farber's mother on the Upper East Side.
You know, this is actually the first time that they've both been back in the same city in 8 months. He has been barred from visiting his children, who are staying with their grandmother on the Upper East Side, and he's now here in the Bronx. They're in Manhattan. Initially, they were reportedly told that their father had died, but of course, those reports turned out to be untrue. But you have to believe that their grandmother has to be shielding these very young kids from this very delicate situation. Of course, if both of their parents were to pass away, they would now be orphans.